Pictures of you, pictures of me, hung upon your wall for the world to see. Pictures of you, pictures of me, remind us all of what we could have been. Pictures of you, pictures of me, hung upon your...
Relive every moment true to life with True Capture technology, only from Canon.
Department, Destination New South Wales, ex-Tourism New South Wales. Sandy's got a bachelor degree in humanities and postgraduate degree in tourism. Sandy's got 20 years of tourism experience, both in government and private enterprise. Sandy has worked for Kentucky, Northern Territory Tourist Commission, Pan Pacific, Tourism New South Wales, Australian Farm Tourism and Tourism Australia. Her roles have included positions in wholesale, inbound, international, marketing and development, both in small and large organisations. Her current role is Industry Services Coordinator at Destination New South Wales. She focuses on providing the New South Wales tourism industry with product and business development support and resources. In her 2 years with Destination New South Wales, Sandy has worked closely with operators from Sydney and regional New South Wales, working first-hand in tourism business and supporting operators in the New South Wales industry, and provided Sandy with valuable insight into product development and marketing for leisure and tourism. That was more. Welcome, Sandy. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the introduction. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much to everybody that's come today. I know there were several of us on a plane that started off in Sydney, then went to Dubbo, then to Adelaide, and finally got here. And it was obviously a difficult journey, but we made it. So I also appreciate all the time it's taken for you guys to get here today, because I know a lot of you have had to come a long way and take time out of your jobs and out of your businesses. Hopefully this is going to work for me.
Is it turned on there?
Should be.
Oh, the screen's gone.
Alright, while we're waiting, just to give you a bit of background, as Laurie mentioned, I work for Destination New South Wales and I work in the Industry Services team. So I work very, very closely with operators in regional New South Wales. A lot of them are new operators, some of them are existing operators, trying to help them obviously with product development and things like promotion, marketing, distribution. And the part that I love about my job the most is actually working with people and really helping them to build a business that is successful. So what I actually plan to be talking about today is how you can actually add value to your business, meet the needs of your customers, and provide a great tourism experience for everybody. Sure. So what I might get you to do for me, if you don't mind, just indulge me a little bit. Close your eyes. And I want you to actually think about the last great tourism experience that you had. Think about who you were with, where you were, what you ate, where you stayed, what activities you did. So take that time to get that picture in your mind. All right, open your eyes. Now I'm sure that most of you would have remembered a whole array of different products, and obviously, as Ray mentioned, a few magic moments in that experience. So what I want to actually talk about today is how you can actually ensure that you make those experiences very memorable and obviously important for your customers, and some of the things that you can do in your business to try and make it a better time for everybody involved. And I'm also going to talk about some of the facilities and opportunities we have at Destination New South Wales that you guys can tap into as well.
We just had to reboot because we switched.
That's all right, that's fine.
Sorry, Sandy.
That's all right, that's fine.
I told you she
I actually want to share a magic moment I had actually. As I mentioned, we had quite a long flight to get here, and we were put up in a accommodation in Adelaide last night, and I have to say that the staff from Rex were fantastic in ensuring we got straight into our accommodation. everything's organised for us. But you know what the really lovely thing for me was last night is we got in about, I think it was about midnight, and we were all pretty tired, and the staff at the hotel that we stayed at in Adelaide kept the bar open for us, so we were able to have a few drinks, and we were also able to have a few toasted sandwiches, which they went out of their way to make. Now to me, that doesn't sound much, but to me that was a little magic moment in the sense that they actually cared enough to ensure that we actually had a relatively nice time when we arrived after quite a long journey. So that's the types of things that I want to kind of convey to you today, and how you can actually add value by doing the little things that people actually remember. Hopefully we'll get going in a sec. Yay!
Sorry.
That's all right. All right. Can we get on to the... Thank you. Right, so it's not working now.
There you go.
Oh, thank you. All right, well, first of all, I think it's really important, as an operator particularly, to have a think about why did you actually choose tourism. Most people think, well, you know, I really like people, might be a lifestyle choice, might be because you want to move to a particular area. Obviously, it's a service industry. You're providing, you know, accommodation, a tour, an activity. But I actually believe the most important thing that your responsibility is to actually deliver an experience to your customer. And that's what I want to really talk about today. What makes up a great tourism experience? I think the most important thing as an operator and a business owner is to actually match your target market. And by that I mean you need to find out who your customers are, and you also need to find out what they want to do and where they're coming from. Now that takes a little bit of effort, but by doing that you actually then are able to make that tourism experience really meaningful for you. It needs to be unique and authentic, and by that I mean you need to actually find out what are your unique selling points, what makes you stand out from the crowd, from your competitors, from other regions, from other products. It needs to be memorable. You want people to be able to go back after they've had the experience at your particular region and go back and brag about it to their families and to their friends. Tell them how wonderful it was to come to Broken Hill or to the Outback and do these wonderful experiences. Quality and consistency is really, really important, because that way you're actually getting people coming back so they can actually see that, okay, it wasn't just a one-off, okay, I talked about it, it was fantastic, but when my friends went, it was fantastic as well. And most important, and I think this is actually the most important of all of it in my view, is to deliver on the promise. So whatever you are saying that your product is going to deliver in your marketing material, make sure that you not only meet your customers' expectations, but if you can, exceed them, so that they're actually surprised by what you're able to do. I'm having a look here from an idea of your customers. We often talk about different target markets, and Carolyn Childs later on will actually be talking about some of the research which will actually, you know, be relevant to this particular area. But I actually want to look at the experience seeker, and that is basically a customer across pretty much all age groups and all demographics. And they're people that are actually really interested in doing things. So instead of necessarily sitting and watching something, they actually want to get involved. So they want to be engaged, they want to be interested, and they really, really want to be entertained. And as I mentioned before, they want to be able to go back and tell their friends and family about the wonderful experience they had. The really nice thing I think that you guys have here is you have such a great array of different tourism experiences that you can promote. So I think you've got, you know, fantastic stuff not only within Broken Hill but obviously in the surrounds of the area and the Outback itself. The first step probably to be able to provide these tourism experiences that we're talking about and meet the needs of your customers is you have to actually look at reviewing your business. So kind of put yourself on the outside and have a look from the customer's point of view. We talked about a little bit about research, but who is your market? And obviously, what does the research say about the experiences that your consumers or your customers are actually seeking? That's the first step. The second step is finding out whether or not your product's still fresh. How many of you that own an accommodation property have actually slept in one of your rooms? Fantastic. That's really, really important. The same for a tour company. If you're hiring a guide to do your tours, have you sat at the back of the bus and actually listened to what they say? Basically to look at it again from the customer's point of view, but to do the types of things that they'd be doing. So obviously if you're in the accommodation, you know, using the kettle, using the iron, using the hairdryer, making sure things work, to see what the experience is actually like. When did you last change or add something to your business or to the services that you're offering? And can you improve the way that you engage with your customers? Not only the people face-to-face, but as later on I'll talk about from an online perspective as well. And lastly, what is your unique selling point? And then is it still competitive? Having a look at it from the point of view of what other people are doing. Again, not necessarily just in your particular region, but you know, New South Wales-wide, Australia-wide. Look what people are up to. Okay, that first step that I talked about, research. There's lots of places that you can go to actually find out where you can get research from, and there's a lot of it. And it can also be very, very useful, as I said, in finding out who your target markets are. You can obviously go to your local tourism manager. Okay, they have information. You can go to your regional tourism organisation, now inland New South Wales, Destination New South Wales, and obviously Tourism Australia. There's a whole array of stuff, both from local, state through to, regional and state stuff. That's some websites to find things, but I won't go into that too much because, as I said, Caroline's going to cover a lot of that off later on today. Think about how you can refresh your product. Ray actually talked about Coca-Cola. Okay, it is Coca-Cola. Down the bottom is actually an image of bridge climb in Sydney, and the middle one is actually one of the meals that was served by Neil Perry on Qantas. So you think to yourself, these are three big brands: Coca-Cola, Qantas, Bridge Climb. Why would you actually need to refresh the products? Can't they just sit on their laurels because, you know, they've been doing it for so long it works? But every particular product has a life cycle. And if you're not ahead of the game, you're going to miss that. Okay, Coca-Cola, as Ray mentioned, it's basically a soft drink, okay? But they look at different ways of engaging different aspects of the market. Bridge Climb, perfect example. They've been running, you know, for I think 10 or more years now. Okay, operating climbs across the Harbour Bridge, and you go, well, what can you change there? Well, they're smart. They built an interpretation centre so you can actually find out now about what happens with the history of the bridge. They also built a free museum, and more importantly, they've just recently introduced Chinese language climbs. So people that obviously come that are not necessarily their past customers, that are their new customers now, so they can cater to them. So again, you might say, well, look, they're three really big companies. Qantas introducing Neil Perry food and, you know, the layback beds and premium economy class, etc. They're big companies. They've got lots of money. You know, I can't do that. I'm only a small operator. I say that's not true. Okay, there are little ways that you can change things. Just as an example, if you happen to be a tour operator that does tours throughout the region, you might suddenly realise that people are very, very interested in nature and eco stuff, and that hasn't been necessarily part of your commentary before. You've looked at the research and that's what people are expecting. They want more interpretation. So the way to go about that is obviously change your commentary, update it. Maybe you might apply for accreditation for ecotourism. Okay, little things that you can do that don't necessarily have to cost huge amounts of money but can make a huge difference to the customer's perspective of your product. And this is what I call the 360 customer service cycle. I actually believe that you have a customer before you even know you have a customer. So in other words, they've probably these days looked on a website, possibly on a tablet, possibly on a mobile phone application at your product. So you don't even know about them. But if you don't make it easy for them to find you and easy for them to book you, then they're going to go elsewhere. So it starts before you even know you have them. Obviously the web search, as I mentioned, the other important aspect now, particularly for travel, is TripAdvisor and other travel review sites. I'm a real believer. I travel a lot, both for work and also for pleasure. And one of the first things I do if I'm going to a destination that I'm not sure of, I go onto TripAdvisor. and have a look at the reviews of the accommodation of the places that I'm thinking about staying in. And you know why I do that? Because I trust those reviews. They're from people that have actually stayed there, or people that have actually experienced the tour. It's not someone telling me from a third party. So I think it's really important that you actually find a way to either ensure that you're monitoring what's happening on TripAdvisor about you. I know of one company that started about 2 years ago, and they've done a fabulous job. They do tours up to the Blue Mountains, and as part of their end of the tour, they actually give out their business cards to all their customers. On the back, they actually say, could you please, if you've had a great day, rate us on TripAdvisor. They are now the #1 touring company out of Sydney to the Blue Mountains, competing against, you know, the big boys like AAT Kings and some of the smaller operators that have been around for a long time. So it's really important to do that, but also to respond to any reviews that you get online as well. So it can be a positive or a negative, but respond to it so that people can see that you're proactive. Obviously, the inquiry booking process and on arrival, you really need to make sure that it's easy for people. And when they arrive, that you welcome them. And not just check them in if it's an accommodation property or hello, how are you, to get on the tour, but really go out of your way to add value. Perhaps, you know, you might find more information about the area for them so that they can have more information about what else there is to do. Or they might be asking questions about restaurants, whatever it happens to be, add value at each step of the process. Obviously, during the stay or tour, you do everything you can to make it as enjoyable as possible. But then afterwards, when they check out and after the visit, you need to make sure you're following up as well, ensuring that they're actually going to come back and that they're going to tell people about how wonderful your product was. So that's another really important aspect, whether you do it through a database and continue to send them information or updates, particularly if you're changing your product. After you've actually looked at that customer service model, it's really important as well to examine your product. There's lots of different ways there that I've kind of outlined. Some of them we've talked about already. But I think it's really important that you view your own business, as I said, as a customer. But also take, you know, information from your staff. Find out what they think is good, what they think is not so good. Look at industry colleagues. Get them to come and have a visit and get their feedback. Very important. Obviously, review what your competition's doing. And as I mentioned before, look online at what reviews are happening about your product. Some of the ways you can look at refreshing your product, and there is actually a handout that I've left on your tables that gives some tips along those lines, but I think there's really 3 ways. Obviously, you can refresh the physical stuff. So you can go and refresh, you know, the rooms, you can go and refresh the tour itinerary or the vehicle itself, or the attraction. You can, you know, refresh the sign. So there's the physical stuff. But I think more importantly, that is important, but I think more importantly, it's also how to refresh your customer service and also refresh what you're actually doing online. Okay, and by that, I'm talking about obviously your website, but also things like social media, making sure that you are on Facebook, that you're on Twitter, that you're actually really utilising all those new resources that there are out there to touch those customers, because one of them, if they're having a fantastic experience, they're obviously going to tell a hell of a lot of other people. So have a look at those handouts because they do give some really specific examples, but I think they're the 3 areas that you really need to look at. Also aspire to add value. There's lots of ways that you can add value to your business, just little things that can make such a big difference. We're talking about experiences, okay? Welcomes, interpretation, hands-on and educational. Little things, as I said, that make the difference. So it might be that you provide a welcome pack on arrival with a whole array of information about things. It might be that you actually include more information and how your commentaries worked, be more interpretation about different things that you're seeing along the way. Hands-on activities is a great one because that really, really relates to the experience seekers we were talking about, giving them things that they can actually do whilst they're on a tour or whilst they're in your accommodation. Different services, look at how you can pamper them, you know. Can you offer different toiletries? Can you offer different services such as pillow menus? You know, there's a whole array of things that you can think about if you really put your mind to it. And obviously, really, these days too, the whole gourmet food and wine experience, and it doesn't have to be from a wine region. okay? But what I'm saying is try and use local produce if you can as well, so that people feel that you're providing an authentic experience. Another one is engagement. Getting involved with either local identities or local experts, whether they are on your tour or whether they come into your accommodation property. They might be a one-off event, or it might be something that you offer on a regular basis. Get those people that are advocates not only for your area, but also for your product. Obviously, once you've done all these things, you've reviewed your business and you've looked at who your customers are, you've looked at ways that you can refresh your product, and you've obviously looked at ways to add value, you need to relaunch your product. And that's probably the most important thing, is to go out there and tell people what you've done. Not only the current customer base, but obviously the future customer base as well. There's a range of ways you can do that there. Obviously, again, I would be getting industry colleagues to come and have a look so that they can spread the word. Make sure you tell the people in your distribution network, so the people that you're selling your product through, but also the people that actually promote your product as well, that may not necessarily sell it. Visitor information centres usually do, but not always, but also your regional tourism organisation and Destination New South Wales. Make sure you let us know so that we can let the industry know and other people what you're actually doing. So just remember, review your business, examine your product, refresh it, both on the side of the facilities, but also your service, online and face-to-face. Try and add value where you can, through those experiences, through the interpretation, through your hands-on activities, through different pampering services, and then obviously relaunch your product. And I think if you do all that, and you really start to think about it from the outside looking in, you should be able to provide a fantastic tourism experience for your guests. What I also want to talk about today is some of the opportunities that we have at Destination New South Wales that will help you do this. We have a lot of resources and a lot of opportunities that you guys can tap into that will help you to be able to relaunch and refresh your product. As I said, the industry services team that I work in at the moment, we provide product development advice on a whole array of those particular subjects. We're happy to look at your consumer and your trade collateral, whether it be online or hard copy. Happy to look at that, provide feedback to you from the point of view of your customer tourists. We also can discuss things like distribution, marketing, pricing, commission structures, the whole thing. You don't have to be a new operator. You can have been operating for 10 years. We still want to talk to you. So please do contact us and make use of it. It's a free service. We also have a number of resources. We have the Tourism Business Toolkit, which comes in 2 volumes. One describes pretty much the tourism industry. Second volume is more about how to develop your product. There's also the Small Business Toolkit, which is a very interactive module. It's actually on the Small Business website, but there is a tourism business module within it. It's got a range of video case studies and also text case studies from people that are actually operators like yourselves, and also some industry experts. So it's a great resource to be able to find out information. Our corporate website also has a whole array of business development resources that you can go on to and look into. And we also have the Online Marketing E-Kit, which is a series of tutorials either in PDF form or YouTube, and that'll give you some really good information about how to upgrade your online presence and how you can improve not only your website but your social media side of your business, and just looking at different booking engines as well if you're looking at down that track. Hopefully most of you would have seen one of these on your table today. That outlines all our business resources, and it's got all those websites on the back for you, so make use of that. That's our volume 1. We're actually in the process of refreshing our business toolkit. So it's had its life cycle, so we're in the process now of revamping that. It will have new covers and also new information in, but that's what it looks like currently at the moment, and that's volume 2. That's the small business module I was talking about that's on the small business website. The orange button there is the tourism business module that you click on to get those case studies. That's our business development resources website. Now also from a digital promotion perspective, we can assist you as well. We have a consumer website called Visit New South Wales, and as part of that there is a program called Get Connected, and it allows you to have a free listing for your business. And in that free listing, you're entitled to have a number of images and obviously copy. But the most important thing about that is it gets uploaded to what's called the Australian Tourism Data Warehouse, which is a national listing of all the product around Australia. That then gets uploaded to about 60 other websites. So you're getting this huge amount of exposure from one particular listing with us. You can also use a program called New South Wales Connect. Now, the other thing that's probably important to note too for the Get Connected program is a lot of the visitor information centres manage products on your behalf, or you can manage it yourself, but make sure you keep it updated as well. New South Wales Connect, you can actually sell your tourism product online in real time. So your listing is on our website, and there's a Book Now button, which allows you then to book it straight away. And Stephen Wells, actually from V3, is here somewhere, and he'll be talking about that later on as well. We also have a newsletter called Escapes, which is an online newsletter that goes out to about 132,000 members, obviously very, very much targeted to travelling within New South Wales. So there is a fee for that, but you can actually put information in there not only about your product, but obviously about your region. That gives you an idea of what a listing would look like on Visit New South Wales. That's Bell's Milk Bar, one of the local products obviously here. And this is actually what it looks like if you've connected up to New South Wales Connect. Got Emery Cottage there. You can actually see obviously the dates and the prices and the ability to be able to book in real time as they look at the website. That's Escapes. This particular edition was more dedicated towards the South Coast, but it usually does combine with the various campaigns that we run throughout the year. So again, a great opportunity for you to tap into. News and media, we have a product update newsletter. I actually put that together about every 6 weeks, and it goes out to all our Destination New South Wales internal staff, overseas officers and stakeholders. So very, very happy. You don't have to be a new product. If you've done anything new, anything different, stuff you want to tell us about, send us some copy and a great image and we'll get that out for you. We also have a weekly industry newsletter called Insights, which is a corporate newsletter. So that gives you lots of good information about what we're up to as an organisation, campaigns, industry events, issues obviously that are coming up within the tourism industry. Our image library is a free resource, so you can actually download for free, both as trade and or media, images for use in any of your collateral. We obviously host media visits, and I think you had a presentation earlier about hosting media visits. So we do that on a regular basis, and obviously we try and make sure that we get some really high calibre journalists, both from the travel and lifestyle media, to various regions of New South Wales. And the media team also put together Uncovered, which is our media newsletter. So that goes out to the travel and lifestyle journalists and hits it from a promotional side. That's the product update that I was talking about. So you get obviously a feature article in there and an image. That's Uncovered, which is the media newsletter. And lastly, I just want to talk about partnerships. We run throughout the year what we call regional product showcases. So we have 6 of these throughout the year. 6 are dedicated to the regional products, and we have another 6 for Sydney products. Now, it is a bit of an ask, I know, from where you're located, but we actually, if you come to Sydney, they are held in Sydney. They're free. Obviously, you've got to get yourself there, but the actual showcase itself is free. It gives you an opportunity to do what I call speed dating. So you're basically doing a mini trade show within the different business units of Destination New South Wales. So it gives you the opportunity to meet with international marketing, regional marketing, the Get Connected team that look after our digital stuff. You're also meeting with industry services team, the media team. So it gives you an opportunity to present your product, but it also gives you an opportunity to find out how you can work together. We also have, actually I'll show you that. That's one of the product showcases. That was the 2 people on the right there own a business down in the Southern Highlands doing food tours. They came to one of our showcases last year. And they've gone great guns ahead with all the connections and things that they've managed to make at the showcase. The other thing that you might be interested in, we've just actually released a new cooperative marketing prospectus. It outlines most of the opportunities that I've talked about, but a whole array of other opportunities as well in both domestic and international marketing. It is available on the website. I have a few hard copies here, but if anyone would like a hard copy, give me your business card afterwards and I will happily send you out that. But it's definitely worth having a look at to see the types of things you're interested in tapping into.
I think they're all in the kits.
Sorry?
They're all in the kits.
Oh, they're in the kits. Fantastic. All right, there you go. You don't have to. Sorry, go back a bit. And lastly, it's really, really important that you guys, I know most of you do, but work with your local tourism manager, work with your local visitor information centre and obviously with your regional tourism organisation, because they all work with us. So if we all work together, we can obviously ensure that your product and the news about your product gets out there and we can provide that great tourism experience. That's just the cooperative marketing perspectives that we looked at a minute ago. That's my details and our consumer and our corporate website details. It's really important for us, and I think it's really important for all the regions, to ensure that we have some really new and exciting and updated and refreshed product for New South Wales, so that we've got lots of stuff to go out there and talk about. Because I believe we've got a really fantastic state and we've got some really fantastic product, and so let's get out there and really make sure that people can experience it, and hopefully it'll be similar to the type of experience obviously that you guys remembered from your own experiences when you closed your eyes. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to take a few questions if I've got time, if anyone has any. Next product showcase, we've got one on the 13th of March. That is actually full. The one after that I think is on the 8th of May. But if you have a look in the prospectus, it will actually have in the back of there an expression of interest of the types of things that you're interested in. So if you fill that in, we can then come back to you. But if you want to give me a card anyway, I can let you know as well. There's basically May is the next one. I don't think it's full. We usually have 5 to 6 spots in each showcase, so they are pretty hotly contested, and obviously it's important for us to make sure that we get a good range of not only products but different regions as well. Yeah?
Any tips and tricks besides what you've already talked about people getting the best out of the fact that Destination New South Wales is there? Anything where you've seen operators work with you and where they approach it or what they bring to you, anything like that?
I think the really important thing is probably the first touch base is really make contact with myself. There is actually 4 of us in the team. 3 of us look after the regional product, and also Shane Dredge looks after Aboriginal product across New South Wales. Please touch base with us first and give us a bit of a rundown about what you're doing, what you're thinking of doing, possibly in the future. If you've got collateral that you can actually send through to me so that I can have a look at what you're doing and where you can possibly look at ways of improving. And probably, I suppose, what you see as the next steps for you, so that we've got a point of contact to talk about, and then we can go through and look at all the different opportunities that are available and where you can go and find information. Anything else? Yeah.
I think in the early stages you touched on the significance of reviews. I'm pretty passionate about that, but I'm observing that Google reviews is becoming more and more significant, and that's in association with Google Maps.
Yeah.
Google used to have a very close relationship with TripAdvisor, which they seem to be abandoning in a very significant way. TripAdvisor is still vital and very important,
Yeah.
but Google reviews is what I strongly recommend that we endeavour to touch base with that and understand that.
Yeah, no, that's a good tip.
How to make that work to your best advantage.
Yeah, no, that's a very good tip. I agree. I think, TripAdvisor has obviously been the main one that everyone's kind of known about, but you're right, there are other platforms that are out there, and I think it's important to kind of check, as many of them as you can and find out, what's being written about you, because obviously that has a huge impact not only on your reputation, but obviously on future customers as well.
I think what's really fundamental to what you just said, that is if you've got a review, and particularly so if it's a bad one, then you, as the management, as the owner of the business, you've got to write a response. And if you don't take that right and take advantage of that right, then to me I think you're just an idiot, because there's people going to leave, have an impression of your business which is going to not do your business any good whatsoever.
No, I totally agree. I think not only is it also responding to bad reviews, but in my view, it's also, if you can, maybe not everyone, but also respond to the good reviews, because it's showing that you care.
Absolutely.
And that you're being proactive and you are actually listening to what your customers have to say. And I think it's like anything, if you've had a bad customer experience, if someone comes along and rectifies that, you know, it kind of, you may not necessarily be so keen on the product, but you also can acknowledge the fact of what they've done to try and make it better. And I think if you do that, then you're halfway there to keeping them as a customer.
You can also actually turn it around and invite conversation in that.
That's right.
We're really sorry to hear. Why don't you get in touch with us and we can chat about it? So it actually becomes a conversation where it's not just that you've responded, but you're not afraid. It says you care, but it also says come back and talk to us and keeps that dialogue going.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's it. Thank you very much.